Welcome to my channel. This is a reading for Pisces for September 2020. First off, I just want to say thank you to all those that are returning subscribers. Always appreciate your devotion to my channel, and certainly I know the readings are a little lengthier in nature, so I really do appreciate your time. And as for those that are new to my channel, thank you for stopping by. And just a quick mention that if you're unable to sit through the length of the reading, I do try to provide a synopsis at the beginning so that you have a glimpse into what's to be expected for each month, but in this case, it'll be for the month of September. So just to give you a really quick rundown of what I did glimpse from the cards. Definitely feel that there is a lot of heavier energy coming through for the month of September. A positive, it's still a positive energy, but certainly felt that it was a very difficult month for a lot of you to go through anyway, or that it will be emotionally. I do feel I'm speaking to probably about three different versions of the Pisces, as these are very general. It's a general audience. It's a very general range in ages as well. We're talking 18 to 18 and up. So I mean, everybody's going to be at different stages in their life. So again, it's a general read. Just take what resonates, and everything else that doesn't pertain to your situation would relate more to another Pisces. But again, everybody will be at different stages in their life. As I said, somebody who's 18 is not going to be going through something that has necessarily a long-term investment situation that somebody in their 40s or 50s might. So I say that because I did feel that there was some kind of a long-term investment that will be coming through. But anyway, for the month of September, that's a bit of a surprise. But irregardless of that aspect, in terms of the money, I did feel that there was a lot of healing energy here, but also something in terms of grief and emotion, and definitely needing to do some planning. And I also felt for other Pisces, or one group of Pisces, that there is some real strong need or call to heal a relationship of some sort and to step forward. I did feel that there was a lot of emotional barriers that you were breaking through here. I feel that for other Pisces, there's possibly a new relationship that's coming through, or a deepening of a relationship. Could be even a deepening of a relationship to self, but I felt either way there's some kind of strong indicator that there's a deepening of relationship, but lots of emotional energy coming through and involving relationships for sure. I should also add this just as a side note for those that are new to my channel. I don't necessarily devote a lot of time and energy to the relationship reads. I feel that they are very complicated dynamics, and so oftentimes it is more relevant to go to another reader that is able to flesh out more of the details with the relationship. But I will touch on relationships and any aspects that come through, just to let you know that there is, it somehow is layering into the month, but I won't necessarily flesh out the details of the relationship. Just maybe some of the happenings that might occur as it relates to your finance or some of the general energies. I will just quickly mention everything that's in this area here is really relating to the career and finance aspect. That's the Rider-Waite deck. I also have other cards that are out of range further off to the side here, and these are actually more of the general energies, as are these toward the back. So I'll get right into the reading, but again, I just felt that there was a lot of energy around beginnings, endings. Travel is also something that came through. Again, some kind of a long-term investment, a lot of issues around safety and security, and concern over family and stability. And I'm talking, when I say family, it could be soul family, just those that you consider to be close to you, that kind of thing. It doesn't have to be immediate family. But I did feel there was also a need to heal for, again, one group of Pisces, I do feel there was some kind of a death here because there's a lot of cards that speak to that. For other Pisces, I feel that there is, and that could have also related to some kind of a relationship end. For others, in terms of, maybe a deep friendship, or, maybe a long-term relationship, something that's come to a conclusion there. But either way, there is some cards of hardship as far as heavy. There's some battle, there's some inner conflicts mostly. There's some need for you to move forward because there's a period of stagnation here as well. There's also, some indicators that you are breaking through these barriers for sure. There's some decisions that are being made. There's, again, beginnings and endings. There's a reason to be optimistic. You also have some of the cards here at the bottom, which I know are not in vision, but I'll just pull forward as I can here. But these are cards that speak to, some secret knowledge and endings, beginnings and endings. And again, there's a lot of beginnings and endings here with the tens, with the World card. You also have the Ten of Cups and the Emperor. So again, there's a lot of cards that speak to beginnings and endings here. So there's definitely a cycle that is coming through, as well as indicating there's a karmic cycle that's actually completing here as well. So you do have happy ending. You do have a lot of issues around self-love or your worthiness. I felt there was a lot of cards that also spoke to that there wasn't a lot of, you weren't feeling as though you were worthy. And I don't know if that's just to do with on the work sphere or if that's on a personal level, but just did not feel that you were starting to second guess yourself. And again, that could be career front, that could be emotionally, just in terms of your relationships. But again, there's a completion with another 10 with the karmic coming through. And you are, for those that are, starting to come out of this and are able to act in the month of September, the message for sure is to keep following your dreams. There is abundance at the end of that cycle, at the end of that. Once you get to a level of completion, it'll be a favorable outcome. It's not something that you're just doing for the sake of the journey. But I just wanted to also mention, and again, because everybody's going to be at different levels of development, motivation, all of those things, not everybody's going to be able to work at the same pace. Some people have a lot of responsibilities with, say, work or with a lot of children, and so things start to slow down the process of achievement. So a lot of the readings, as I said, will trail into months beyond September, and there's always a residual of relationships that are not all resolved in 1 month. I feel that it takes a lot of time to heal things. For example, as with grieving, that would be something that you might feel stronger in 1 month and then fall a couple of steps backward to deal with another issue that you thought you'd overcome in a previous month. But again, sometimes there's a continual energy that will flow through in regards to some of these deeper issues. So I just thought I would throw that out there because, as I say, when doing readings, I think there's predominant energies that you might start to deal with, but that they do play out oftentimes through extended months, just because it's not something that most people can resolve in a couple of days, especially something that is an ending of a relationship or an ending of a familial relationship or whatever the case might be. So again, there was a call for you to strategize. When I say strategize, not in a manipulative sense, it was more of an energy of feeling that you were stagnant and in a hermit period here for a heavy portion of the month of September. But for sure, there is a call to start planning and orchestrating your next move with where you're headed. So I don't feel that a lot of you are just starting fresh with a new path. I think a lot of you were already in the throes of knowing where you're headed with your ambitions or your dreams or goals, that kind of thing. And this is really just a carry-on of trying to initiate your start button, so to speak. So for the most part, as I said, I did feel there was a lot of emotional energy coming through here, a lot of introspection, a lot of healing that needs to be done. Take that time, because if you push too far ahead, you'll end up, oftentimes down the road falling 2 steps behind. Very strong energy coming through to heal some kind of a relationship with somebody. This might just relate to just a handful of you, but either way, there's some kind of pain, and you're being told to be courageous and go forward to heal this rift. And I feel this is a rift from childhood. It's a really long-standing energy. Okay, so I'll just get right into the reading here. First off, we'll start with the card of Mountain. So I'll go through some of the card decks as well as we go through, just to give you a rundown of who the illustrators are and those that created the cards. So the fortune reading cards are by Sharina Starr, and they are illustrations by Richard Crooks. So this card is Mountain. Know that you are protected as you face challenges, but remain cautious. So anytime you're going through some kind of emotional upheaval, or you're in a vulnerable emotional place, for sure, you just want to go through cautiously and not jump into making heavy decisions, or decisions that might require a quick answer. Take your time in making those decisions when you know you're in an emotionally vulnerable place. So just as a heads up, that you are protected during this time, but again, just to act with some reserve. So Spirit is coming through, and again, this, I feel, because there were so many energies around grieving and cards that I'll pull forward that speak to that as well, I do feel that this is actually a past loved one that's coming through here. But again, for others of you, I mean, it might apply that it's God or Spirit or divine, whatever that energy is that you're comfortable with, in allowing protection or guidance to come through. That is what is relevant. So, but again, I feel more specifically with this card, there is a guardian angel coming through that is somebody that has passed on. So outside of that, the card is, also letting you know that you do have a mountain to climb here. So there is something that is coming forward that is letting you know. I feel it's more of a spiritual as well as a mental, emotional mountain that you're metaphoric, that you're climbing here. I don't think that you're headed out on any, trek in the near future that requires you to go into the woods, but if it is for some, fine. But I feel overall that there's just so much mental pain and heaviness and conflict that I feel it's more of an emotional hurdle. So anyway, just to let you know that this is just about being cautious while you're going through this, because you're going through a little period of struggle here, that things that revolve around relationships, things that might come up as quarrels, confrontations, anything that's upsetting here is considered your mountain. This is also about maybe you finding out about something that kind of surprises you, that might precipitate an end in a relationship for some of you. And either way, it's just about you possibly being a little surprised by something, but it's also a time that you're healing through it. It's not something you're completely letting go of. I feel that the endings that you're going to be enduring or going to be facing are really more personal than they are relationship in the material or the physical world. So this is, also a time where you might feel a little oversensitive, so you might be a little more reactive. So just to be careful of that. The reason why I say that is because it's coming through with the Phoenix, and this is, again, another card of beginning and ending. So you might be a little more biting, than you normally would be, just because this is a very emotional time for you. So head to the not necessarily the mountains, but head to the mountains or head to, out into nature, just to kind of clear your thoughts and ground yourself again, because there were other cards that also spoke to that, where you needed to ground yourself. So this is about not taking risks during this time. You want to make sure that you are just aware of your surroundings. So again, baby steps. The next card, again, is the Phoenix. Okay, so with the Phoenix, it is be prepared to be renewed after a period of crisis. So this card is just that. It's about, rising from the ashes and, beginning anew. So some kind of major crisis. Could be a breakup of an important relationship. It could also speak to, as I said, grieving or loss. Something from the past is needing to be released here. So again, it doesn't have to all be released in the month of September, but you are doing a portion of that release during the month of September here. So this, in terms of personal relationships, is representing power. It's a symbol of freedom. It's about you having, when you're blocked, your vision becomes a little more isolated and narrow so that you can deal more specifically with the issues. But on another level, it can, sorry, my cat's in the room here trying to cross the cards. But anyway, this is a card that's letting you know you have to, find a way to heal, but when you heal, you're also able to, sorry, it took me a second there with my cat distraction, but you're also able to expand your mind and deal with life on a greater level once you are able to start to heal. So you start to have a broader vision, you're able to find more creative solutions to things. So just be aware, you're still in a healing period here for the month of September. And again, for many of you, it may, prolong into the coming months. But for the moment, it is letting you know that you have a chance to really emerge and do some strong healing in this period. So don't waste time on things that, you find are holding you back right now. Don't get yourself overly consumed with emotional issues around you that aren't for your greater good. In other words, not really allowing you to heal. Sometimes, as I said, when you're in a period of trying to cross that border between who you were and who you need to become, you're more reactive over smaller issues. So just to try to find a way to distance yourself from some of the smaller things that appear to aggravate, but again, could be just a transference of a deeper issue that you're dealing with right now. So this card is also indicating, in terms of a career, that you are starting to rise and things are starting to go your way. You might even see talents that you didn't realize that you had emerging here. And there's also other cards that speak to that same consideration. So really positive with those two cards. Definitely, again, a lot of emotional issues to deal with, so just take your time in resolving what comes up. Don't push through it, because you want to make sure that you're fully healed and that you're actually looking at the real issues and not just dealing with some of the surface emotions. Because sometimes when you feel, sadness, especially as a Pisces, I even though I feel that there's a lot of, Pisces are generally really emotional people and could be romantic and dreamy and all of those things, but there's also a real rational side there too. And sometimes when we've hit a point of overload or overwhelm on the emotional aspect, we tend to start to over-rationalize and pull away from our emotions, which doesn't really aid us in dealing with the deeper aspects. So anyway, You also have, this is the numerology guidance cards, and this is by Michelle Buchanan, and this is indicating that you have a happy ending coming here. So again, there is some goodness that's coming out of the month of September for sure. But again, I mean, it's still a period where you're going to have to kind of work your way toward that. So nothing's just going to jump out at you. This is something that you're working toward with the happy ending. This is a confirmation though, that it's coming through, that there is some favorable things that are coming through that you're going to attract, and that could be, good fortune. Not necessarily in terms of finances. I don't know yet until we kind of go further with the reading, but I mean, there was something that did speak to a pleasant surprise or something materializing, I suspect probably toward the middle or the end of September. But either way, some kind of long-term investment or something that's coming through that was a little unexpected, or maybe it's a final payout or something that somebody wasn't expecting to come through. But either way, there is a happy ending here. So there's something that is favorable that's going to make you happy, and it's definitely a positive outcome, and it does bring you some joy here. So, and again, this could also be that you're starting to, if this is a situation where you actually are able to go forward and heal this rift with someone in particular, this could also be that happy ending. That could be where you're actually getting that desired outcome here. But in terms of others that are moving in toward goals, that kind of thing, it would still be a happy ending on that front as well. So those that are career-minded for sure would be moving in the right direction. Again, as I mentioned earlier, there was some indicator that there, well, actually not just a few cards, quite a few cards actually indicating that you're kind of pulling yourself apart emotionally on some levels here. And again, when I say, when the card comes up as self-love, it doesn't mean that every aspect of your life is out of control and that you're rejecting yourself, on every front. It can just mean that you're wavering back and forth between, am I good enough, to complete this dream or this goal? Am I good enough to, am I strong enough? Why is, you could be questioning things like, why is business not coming through as quickly as I expected? And then start to question your own self-worth, because a lot of times we have an identity that we feel very strongly tied to, and if it isn't upheld, oftentimes we mirror each other, or we are around other people that help us to reaffirm that identity. And once that identity is not being reaffirmed, especially when a lot of us have been in isolation and some places are not yet fully operational and back out into the workforce, that level of mirroring doesn't really occur on the same level. So then you're really faced with yourself. And that might be why there's some need to focus your attention on self-love and, the things that you believe about yourself to be true here. So just at this time, take the time to prioritize yourself and, just accept and embrace who you are. And whether you see something as a shortcoming or not, a lot of times things that can be a shortcoming may actually turn out to be an advantage down the road. So just allow yourself to work through it. The only way, for example, this is just an example, but although this is something that did come through in your read, that you needed to be courageous in whatever aspect here, I'm not sure, but you needed to be courageous in something. The only way to be courageous is to immerse yourself in doing courageous things. So you might start with small steps and move towards some of the bigger things that help you to feel or confront some of the issues that you wouldn't otherwise move forward on. A lot of us create so many boundaries that we cut ourselves off from feelings, we cut ourselves off from people, we cut ourselves off from things that could potentially heal very big parts of ourselves and allow us to spring forward. So when I say cut things off, still keep up your boundaries, but you might be able to come forward and do a video, write a letter, do something small toward healing a potential relationship that, fell out of favor in the past, and not necessarily have an expectation of a return of the same commitment or the same affection or the same, reaching out. But you can still heal by generating a video or generating a letter or doing something that helps you to move toward resolving something that might have been leaving you with a sense of emptiness, or just a level of incomplete. But now is the time to start treating yourself like a friend. It's, relating to your self-talk, being a little more on the positive, in terms of the things that you say to yourself. And a lot of times it's not always enough just to say, I am worthy, I am good. If you, in the back of your, in your subconscious mind, you're still believing that you're not. So do things that, oftentimes doing something for donating your time to someone else, that can help you to feel more empowered or better about yourself. Reaching out to your community in some way, doing something with your time for a child, or, small things that extend yourself can help you to feel better about yourself as well. And then when you do say positive things to yourself about yourself, they seem more true because you've just done something that was tremendously helpful to another. Maybe helping somebody move or whatever it might be, and then you start to say, feed yourself with the positive talk after you've done events like that. I did a great thing today, whatever, that really helps to reinforce, because for every negative thought, you pretty much have to flood yourself with large amounts of positivity to be able to kind of shake heavy patterns of negative talk over a longer period of time. Many people have negative talk that's been going on for years, so that's why I say you need to really amp up the level of positivity to be able to overcome it. So raise your energy, raise your vibration, write down good things about yourself, whatever it takes, because every little thing will count here. Your capacity to help other people, love yourself, and love others there is no limit on that. It's when you start to have expectations of getting things reciprocated that there might be some fallback or issues around, well, that didn't go well. So give without expectation of receiving, but again, don't be so overly giving of your time that it feels like it's a sacrifice, so that you resent the person that you're assisting. So you really have to try to make time for it to be able to progress. Anyway, nobody's got a perfect life, and all you can really do is just to reflect on yourself and try to heal the areas of your life that can help you to grow. So we've got karmic completion, which is, again, that's the end of a cycle here. So again, that's another 10, a lot of beginnings and endings here. So really this is just letting you know that the healing is ready to start here with this card. This is all about you having learned some kind of lesson. So because you've learned some kind of a lesson, usually how it works is the universe will then start to reward you with something, because you've taken some kind of courageous movement toward healing. So again, I don't know when this is playing out in the month of September, but I feel that you're making some kind of courageous step forward, and that's when the universe will come forward to give you some kind of gift as a reward for, completing this cycle. So again, it's a lesson that's learned. It's some kind of contract or debt from the past, some kind of thing that you experienced, that you were blocked probably from, that you decided to change something so that you were able to then change the course of your life here. And that's why you're moving off into a different trajectory here for the month of September. So you have to experience this. I should also mention that once you experience a lesson, you don't generally have to experience the lesson again. Sometimes you can look as though you're going to encounter that same lesson again, but once you have the knowledge, you generally kibosh any, reemergence of going through that all over again. So this is where this is the ability to adapt here. This is you being able to move forward, facing your challenges head on, and then you're being rewarded again by the universe. So we also have follow your dreams, and so following your dreams is just that. It's you, finally I don't feel it's happening in the beginning part of September. I feel that toward the end, you're actually able to start to make some plans. I don't think everything is coming to fruition for sure in the month of September, but you're, especially with all these cards of beginnings, endings, and healing, but definitely it's a card indicating that you are able to get back on track here. And probably, I suspect, toward the end of the month, because most of the cards were kind of laid out with more of a positive at the very end here. So it's just time to be hopeful, know that you're moving away from negative cycles here. You know, things will start, you're going to feel as though you've got more control over your life here again. You're letting go of expectations, and then this is where the synchronicities will start to come forward, with the universe lining things up for you so that you get opportunities coming your way, and it's just up to you to act on those opportunities. So the energy of the universe comes through with an aha moment or an awakening, or helps you to see a broader vision, gives you creative solutions. That kind of thing is all energy, but it's still up to you in the physical world to act on those dreams, to act on those visions, and not to give up. So things do happen, things do, come true, but it's all about perfect timing, and it's also about you putting some action behind, creating the motion, putting some action behind the activity or behind the inspiration. So you also have abundance. So again, you are on a path once you allow yourself to move forward. And again, no rush on this, because you look to be going through an awful lot in September. But you will be able to find an abundant, I don't want to say end, because then we, generally it's just a perpetual cycle, life, until such time that we do reach an end. But abundance is really, you're going to receive some kind of a reward anyway as you go through. And that, again, could be feelings of happiness. It can be, prosperity in terms of finances, whatever, abundance means to you. Hope, close connections with people, again, all of a sudden starting to, things starting to make sense. But overall, this is, being healthy and wise. It takes a lot of different angles here with abundance. Okay, so moving past that, we are on to the... Sorry, just trying to get some of the cards out of the way so I can see things more clearly. Okay, so the next cards are, this is actually, I'll just briefly show you the backs of them here. So this one is actually cards by Sandra Ann Taylor, and they're energy oracle cards. So you have the card of strategy. You've also got a man holding a heart, first chakra, Archangel Michael, and you've got cornucopia. So starting out with strategy, again, this is just basically what I'd mentioned about planning. You starting to take a look at what you need to do. I don't think it's in a manipulative sense. It didn't feel that way for me. It felt that you just had been in some period of stagnation and you needed to move forward. So this is about you making a plan, writing things out, getting it out of your head, because as long as everything stays in your head, we often don't act on those things, or they end up being put out of order. There's no real tangible results because everything is bounced around in our heads to finish, and so we don't really make leaps and bounds and movement on it. So make sure you write it down, or type it out, whatever. But it's just taking the time to set up a schedule so that you can move in the direction that you want to move towards your goals here. So it's adding thought to action so that you can see the road ahead. Okay, so the next card is the man holding a heart. For some of you, again, I felt that this is a deepening of a relationship, but for others, it's really about, family love and those in your soul tribe, those that you feel close to, those that you consider family. So this is really about getting clear on your purpose in life, but it's also about, it could be relationships as well, but it's also about finding a more balanced approach here with family and love, and just trying to organize things so that you do feel more stable, because as I said, there were other cards that spoke to you feeling that you weren't as stable as you might like to be. So it doesn't necessarily mean on the financial front, it could be, but it could be on in other areas that you feel unstable with family. You might be questioning a lot of things within yourself, especially if you have lost someone, just about your own mortality, whatever it is, or those around you, not feeling secure that everybody's there for the long haul, whatever it is for you. But either way, this can signify for other Pisces that there is, if you are a single Pisces, that there is a new person coming through, whether it's a male or a female, whatever your gender here. But it is, because as I mentioned before, none of the cards are gender specific. It's just the energy of the card. So again, this is somebody who could be a love interest, just period, coming through, like as a friend, somebody that you've known for some time. But again, it's just about just feeling a more balanced approach in your life, and so you're starting to balance your love, your family, your home, personal projects, all of those things with this card. So the next card out will be the first chakra archangel. So this card is the first chakra archangel Michael, and this card is really talking about what I mentioned, stability and security. Sorry, I'm trying to get my cat to stay off cards, which is always an issue here. Okay. Anyway, so this card, as I mentioned, is really just about that sense of stability and security that you're trying to restore here. So if you've got any problems here that relate around that, this is about you finding a way to resolve those things. So again, you're taking some action here. There's some strength. You are actually finding strength and stability. It's not, I think that the feeling of lack of stability is really just in your head. I don't feel that anything is really out of whack. There might be a few things that might need to be addressed, but overall it's nothing that is really an obstacle in the month of September. So, but again, if you feel there's a few things you want to tweak, this is still about you allowing yourself to move forward and create that security. So we also have, sorry, I have to get my cat out of the room here. And the next card is Cornucopia. Okay, so Cornucopia is really just that. It is a time where it's abundance. It is where your wishes are fulfilled. It's a card where something is coming to harvest here. So this is where you might have job fulfillment. This is where you could also find a new job coming through. Something either way is about to pay off. And again, this could be a long-term investment. This could be some kind of loan that's come through. This could speak of a debt that was outstanding that's coming through for you. It's being paid off. But something as a bit of a surprise, either way, is coming through. And that is, again, for the month of September. Okay, so next cards up would be, I'll just show you which ones we've got here. So this deck is actually the Enchanted Map deck, and this is by Colette Baron-Reid. So we've got Sad Embrace, we've got Details, we've got Commitment, and we've got Strength. So again, I did feel a lot of you were going through some kind of a loss of a relationship. Again, whether it's an actual death or whether or not it relates to a relationship that had a lot of meaning to you that ended. Either way, Sad Embrace is a card where there's a loss in your life, and so it's you letting go and allowing time just to heal. So again, it could even relate to a dream of some sort that you had, that for others of you, that you've had to put down and kind of recalibrate and let go of that original dream and try to revisit it in a new way. But either way, it is for the highest good. So there is a more powerful dream that's going to be realized here. So once you're able to accept the loss of this original journey, you're going to see that there is a new way that this will come through. And again, for others of you that are actually dealing with an actual loss, this is really about, there is disappointment there, but in shifting your perspective and realizing that whatever was lost, they're on their own journey as well. I mean, there's, it's the cycle of life. It is life and growth, and tears are all the way through. We're human beings, so we have feelings, and there's always going to be that experience that we have to journey through. Every single one of us will go through this journey. So, this is just a part of that landscape. So the next card up is details. And I should mention, that's not to minimize anybody who's gone through a loss. I for sure have gone through that myself, and so I will say that it takes the time it takes to heal, so not to rush the process. But as far as the next card here, details is all about, again, committing to making a plan and getting things done. It's just about you starting to maybe commit to others, in terms of, whether it's starting to make out some plans so that you can actually act on those commitments, anything like that. But it is about paying attention to some of the tiniest details. I don't know if others of you will be, working on things that require a lot of detail, but either way, this is about you paying attention to the details and creating some kind of a structure here. So this could also speak to, correspondence. So maybe there's a lot of correspondence going on between parties. I hesitate to say that this might be related to harsh words of some sort coming through with the High Priestess and the Ten of Swords, and maybe that's where there's a lot of communication going back and forth with something like this, with this card here. But either way, just to pay attention to details and be clear on what it is that you're dealing with, not to be making offhanded remarks, and try to see the larger picture here. Okay, so the next card again was commitment. So again, you're trying to get things done. You're starting to pay attention to the details. You really are starting to develop a level of commitment again here, because again, I feel that you were going through a powerful change, actually, not a little change, but a powerful change that required a lot of your attention, or is still requiring a lot of your attention on the healing front. But again, this is you putting in the time and attention and the effort. In this particular case, for again, one set of you, I feel it'll be in regards to a relationship. You're starting to pay attention to a certain relationship. You're starting to commit to this relationship and be more responsible to that partnership. Again, for others of you, it'll relate to a partnership in a business where you're starting to enter into the partnership. So you're moving it from one level of commitment to another. The last card in that series is strength. So again, with strength, that's just about you you're having to stand in your integrity here. You might have had to stand up for yourself or others with this card, but the card of strength is, coming from a place of self-reliance. But it's also coming not just from self-reliance, it's also about spirit coming through, your intuition, things along that line that are also helping to guide you and accomplish things at this time. So you're really not alone. You're actually able to connect and, kind of channel that energy into the physical world. So you're able to use your ideas. And again, this is, for some of you, it can be speaking to using your creative energies. that the universe is giving you ideas. So just following some of those creative bents, those things that you want to try that help to manifest in other ways. So if you feel this strong need to do calligraphy or whatever it is, it may seem like a pointless task, but sometimes it's part of the healing, and it helps you to redirect your energy and focus better with other things. So, even with the ability to focus, oftentimes you have to practice focus. So by practicing focus, and there's actually exercises that you can do that relate to focusing, where if you're looking at a candle, for example, you can say, well, what color is the candle? And then you start to expand on that. What color is the candle? What kind of glass is it in? Is there a design on the glass? And then you start to broaden it on a small scale, and you could even do that in a meditative way as well. But either way, it's when you're doing small things like finishing a book or cooking something that you've always wanted to try, just in doing those small things, they help you to refocus, realign, and get out of your head a little bit, so that you're actually able to heal as well and free up some of that energy. Okay, so moving on past that, next cards would be okay, so again, these cards were the ones that I felt really, spoke to a lot of sadness here too. But this is actually the Spellcasting Oracle cards by Flavia Kate Peters and Barbara Meikle-John Free, and the artwork is by Lisbeth Cheever. So the first card out is Grieving. You've got Lighten Your Load. You've got Commitment, which again is for sure, there's repeats here. Different decks, but they all have some varied meanings. Family and Closure. So absolutely, I feel that you are going through some kind of strong loss. Again, I feel that I'm speaking to about 3 different groups of you, but with one group, grieving is definitely, there's been some kind of a loss here. And again, it could be metaphoric, but I feel that there was an actual loss for somebody in particular, or a group of people. I don't think it was just any one person, but either way, there was a great loss here. There's a lot of emotions around that loss, and it's just a matter of going through the process, the grieving process. So just know that, with this card, it speaks to, the eternal bright light that a person has. It resonates over a lot of the things that they have done in their life. So as part of that bereavement, just to remember in your grief that there's a lot of things you're still connected to that can be appreciated about the person. The person, we all do something in life that helps to make us known in the world, that opens up the hearts of others, so that others know that we existed, and this is where a new start can begin, once you're able to realize that that we were all here for a reason. We're all here to lighten the load for others as well. So again, heal in your own way, and if it is something that's a real overwhelm for you, please, seek counseling. Don't try to handle everything on your own. But in regards to this particular card, this is really about you being able to remove yourself from stressful situations, and allow yourself to feel that you don't have to take on all the responsibilities and the load of life's demands at this time. You're lightening your load a little bit, and you're trying to allow some laughter and some happiness into your life, and inspire yourself again. And you are being protected from spirit while you go through this, and not to take everything too seriously, because worry can make us sick. So it's really about remembering that if you have lost someone, that it's important to realize not just that they want you to live your life out in its entirety in a very positive, life fulfilling, empowered way, but they also as they had laughter in life, they would want you to have laughter in life. So try to remember yourself here and try to make that time. Shuffle around priorities so that you make that time for yourself. You also have a card of commitment here. So again, for others of you, it could be a commitment in terms of a relationship that you're deepening, which I did feel was a part of that. And for others of you, it's deepening your relationship to yourself. And yet for others of you, it is deepening your relationship within your family unit. You're starting to put your heart and soul behind something. You're focused. You've got some dedication here, and you're starting to rethink about the obligations, what's important, what can be, set down. You're refocusing your dream, and overall, you're committing to a new sense of freedom. So whatever is allowing you to feel like you've reached some sense of closure. You're letting go of something, some old way of having dealt with something, and you're moving into a new cycle here where you're actually able to commit to a new dream, a new idea. So it's time to get out of a situation, aim for the better, the better one that actually is closer in line with your needs. And again, some may have been pushing too hard to hang on to this one dream at the expense of losing family or losing a relationship or, losing everything else around it. And so this is about you redefining what is important to you here. And so you're actually letting go of the old idea and moving ahead with, in the future here with what's around you. You're investing in it. You're closing the old door. You've got a window of light here, and you're feeling like you've got more control over your life here, and you're able to let go of some elements here in September. So again, it's about allowing yourself to feel sorry for how something has turned out, but at the same token, there's a wonderful opportunity that is ahead of you here, and you just have to make room for that new energy to come forward. So again, with the card of family, that's just, again, you realigning with what family is to you and what's important to you. So, this is a time for you to take a look at where you haven't been listening. You might actually, for some of you, you might be feeling alone at this time. Again, this is going to take some time to move into this energy, but right now some of you may feel as though you're alone and that nobody's listening to you. And you might be feeling like you've got all this family around, but you're still in that place of feeling isolated and that nobody's really there for you while you go through this, because it is a personal journey. It is a soulful experience but it's necessary for you to go through. But you can turn to your family for support. And so again, this is a card of a rift being healed. And again, I did feel that there is some kind of courage that's needed for you to be able to go forward and heal some kind of relationship. Something needs to be, and again, it doesn't it's better to not have an expectation of how it should go. Just know that when you make an extension toward another, it's closure for you. So again, that was the spell casting cards, and the next ones I will get to will be the Moonology cards. So the Moonology cards they're oracle cards, and this is by Yasmin Boland, artwork by Nyx Rowan. So you've got luck is on your side, new moon in Sagittarius, you are good enough, full moon in Virgo, and hold your vision, fixed moon, and you've also got it's time to take action, new moon in Aries. So again, these were also repeat cards, just indicating that you are going through some sense of self-analysis. Maybe it's leading or had led to some kind of sense of paralysis. So what is it? Analysis through paralysis through over-analysis, something to that effect. But anyway, this is a card of you being able to, the wheel of fortune is turning here. So this is about you being able to move forward and out of this negative energy here. You do have, luck on your side. You do have a guardian angel that's looking out for you here. Spirit is on your side and you are being moved forward. So it can also signal a trip. This card can indicate there might be some kind of holiday in the near future. It may not have to be across the world, but something that just gives you a little bit of a breather. But it is something that I feel is, or some kind of a gift or something that's coming through. But your worldview is opening up here with this card. So it's also a card, as I said, about you laughing more. You could be, starting out to learn something different. Even on the small scale, again, learning calligraphy or whatever it might be for you. But, it's just about not being narrow-minded. So it's about you taking that time to practice gratitude, and again, make it fun. If you need to travel somewhere to a park or even, something in nature, go on a walk, do an exploration, a little quest of some sort. It just helps to keep things upbeat and, helps you to come up with big ideas. Things along that line all come through with this card. So again, this is a card of thinking about your own philosophies and about changing your mind as well. Okay, so the next card is... Next card out is You Are Good Enough. So just that, it's really about you reevaluating or looking at yourself in a deeper context and, practicing getting yourself grounded here. Again, taking some time out, finding some laughter, sorting through some of the energies of the things that might be blocking you, the negative thinking, all of that. Don't undercut yourself. Know that you actually have potential, and it's just a matter of you worrying too much. And when you worry consistently enough, you start to attract more worry or more reasons to worry. So being hypercritical is really not to your advantage here. The card is indicating that you're second guessing yourself. So again, doing something for somebody else sometimes can help to overcome that kind of paralyzing energy. But again, anything that will interrupt worry is what you want to be doing. So hold your vision. And this is about, two possibilities. You've got, it's a stubborn vision here, apparently, with this Hold Your Vision card. So this is a card that indicates that either you're being stubborn or you're actually stuck. So again, that was analysis paralysis sort of deal there. But either way, there could be some kind of a deadlock between you and another person, but it's a period of self-reflection that will help you to get past this, and just to have some staying power and, practice grounding yourself again and getting yourself out of stagnation here. So it can also speak to you sticking to a particular goal because it's a fixed sign, fixed moon sign. So when you stick to a particular goal, you're actually going to start to see that there will be resulting something that is resulting in your favor for a longer period of time, I guess is maybe the best way to put it. Okay, last card out in that series is It's Time to Take Action. So just that, you need to start, again, doing some practical efforts in putting things to paper, starting to commit to where you're headed, thinking about, what you want to start here or restart or initiate. But you're on the right track either way. So it's a positive sign. This is a yes from the universe, this card. And this is really about you being determined and courageous and just putting, one foot in front of the other. Don't give up. and just do your best. Try to create some kind of a 12-month plan. You might start with a 3-month plan, then move a 6-month, and then up to a 12-month plan, whatever it takes to get you to be practical and start moving in the direction of your goals. And it also can speak to, again, for those that are single, a new person coming into their life, male, female, whatever that is for you. But either way, positive energy all around. So the next cards up are the... Okay, so this is the Earth Magic Oracle cards by Stephen D. Farmer. So you've got Synergy, that's the universe synchronizing things up. You've got Radiance, and you've got Wake-Up Calls. So there's some difficulties, but you're finding your way through it and creating some balance. And again, I feel that you need to be compassionate towards yourself and to someone else to bring about that radiance, to bring about some positive outcome here. So again, with the Green Man, with Synergy, this is a period of growth for sure. I feel that you're actually able to... I feel that the universe, as I said, is starting to line things up so that you can start to see opportunities for healing. This is about, again, still finding balance. It's about trying to bring things together so that it's not a whole bunch of parts. Things are being brought together so that you can take advantage of that energy and create some kind of flow in your life. So again, this is the interaction between you and spirit. This is an intuitive connection here between your personal self as well as your ego. It's about you trying to find a balance between all of these things so that you can heal, so you can move through in a faster way towards your goals. So again, with the Radiance card, this is about you being playful and passionate and, finding just a love in nature and getting outdoors. And, it's about starting to come out of that stagnant place. With the Tsunami card, again, this is a card really where there was a bit of a wake-up call. There was some kind of difficulty or challenge that you've undergone. I don't feel it was in the month of September. I feel this was prior, but for sure it's about things that kind of put you, I don't want to say full destruction, but something that caused a dramatic event in your life here. And this was a bit of a wake-up call for you because of this significant loss. So again, for some of you, a significant loss in terms of end of a relationship that was important to you, or an actual passing of someone that was important to you, but it's an unexpected event. For others, it might have been a job loss or loss of a business, but either way, it's an unexpected event that occurred, and it became sort of that real life drama here. So, but again, it's past, and you've made it through, and now it's just a matter of trying to, find your balance again here with the Music card. So again, with music, sometimes it can be specific to just that, where you're listening to music that helps you to get back into the flow of things. It can also be, as subtle as sometimes just hearing some of the words. Some words in a song might stand out more than others, or maybe a certain song or certain music or artist, helps remind you of someone that helps you to find some kind of a balance and feel close to, this person that's passed or this person that's left, your immediate world. But either way, it is something that is helping you to bring about, bring things back into sync. So this is about, you allowing that energy to flow through you. Again, I still felt with the Love and Compassion card that you are going to have to move forward on some kind of relationship to heal it. It doesn't mean that it's going to end up in a perfect world or perfect way and everything is just great. It does mean it helps you to heal. So by you reaching out in a compassionate way, again, maybe you need to create a video for somebody and send it off, or write a letter or a card or something, just to show that you've reached some sense of closure to yourself, regardless of whatever the other person's response is. It's about you saying what you need to say, feeling what you need to feel, and again, even if somebody has passed, if you do need to write this out and just say whatever your goodbyes are, and just let that heal underneath your pillow or whatever it is for you. Or if there is a relationship from the past, is what I feel this is. If there's a relationship in the past that has, from childhood, that hasn't been healed, this is a card that's letting you know that you have the power to shape your own reality here. If you focus on recognizing the broken parts of yourself, you'll realize that you will be able to heal these wounds. It's an illusion. That separation is an illusion. You can heal those wounds by cultivating love and compassion here. So this is, you reaching out, and by doing so, you're healing another, or most importantly, you're also healing yourself. So it is an act of kindness is what this card is really bringing about. It's you needing to let go of any righteousness, any fear, any anger, any judgment, anything that's blocking you, that is going to allow you to not feel separate anymore, because this becomes fragments of self. And when you have fragments of self and they're disconnected, you don't heal that heart center. You're not able to, look deeply because you're blocking areas to your healing. Okay, we're getting through these. I'm sorry, we're already an hour into it. Okay, so the next cards, this is actually the Wisdom Oracle cards, and this is by Colette Baron Reed. We've got Unfinished Symphony, and we've also got Building Blocks, and we've got Yin, and we've got Soulmates. And again, soulmates doesn't have to be a romantic relationship. Could be soulmate as a friend or a family member even. Come to the edge. And I say that just because some connections, you just feel some people understand you better than others, and that becomes your soulmate. Doesn't have to be on a romantic front. It's just somebody who really is very connected to you and has a good understanding of you. So, okay, starting with this is the Unfinished Symphony card. It's about some kind of incomplete lesson. So again, there's some kind of closure that still needs to happen for the month of September. Again, I feel for some of you, it's about healing some kind of a rift with a family member, but it's an unfinished, incomplete lesson is what it is. It's a lack of closure, and you need to make amends is what this card also speaks to. I mean, the message is pretty clear here, I would say, with each of these different decks. You want to tie up loose ends. It's also about mastering a skill, moving forward, but it's also a card of taking inventory of your emotional and your psychological areas that still require some answers, and that again speaks to that closure. Things you can't move forward without, when you're leaving things unfinished like that. So, and unfortunately, when I say that as well, unfortunately, when you leave something unfinished, you might feel empowered with your position, but unfortunately, what's oftentimes will happen is that lack of closure in that area ends up replicating in your life, in your immediate family. So if this is a familial situation, if you don't find a way to heal that within yourself, you're going to find it will replicate in your own family. And it may not be you, with that has to do the healing in your immediate family, but it could be someone else doing that to you. So you actually end up still with that fragmented part of self. Especially with children watching, they need to know that you can make amends and that you can, because they in turn will do the same with you. So just using that as an example, but either way, it is a card of you reflecting on what's past and finding a way to move past anything that is unhealed, so that you're not denying that part of yourself. So again, make that call, have that conversation, write that letter, make a video, declare your feelings. And again, without expectation, because this is really about you trying to heal yourself. You can't have an expectation of somebody else there on their own journey, but it is about you helping to resolve the doors of the past so that you can set yourself free here. So again, some people may not be in your immediate world for you to be able to do that, but still writing a letter or somehow clearing and making amends, in some way can really resolve things in your own world in the immediate. So, which you might not see any change yet, but you may see it manifest over time. That's why I say it's important to find a way to close that off. Anyway, okay, so in terms of money, this is really a card that speaks to abundance coming through. So you have the ability to bring opportunities to you, and in doing so, you want to make sure you're paying your bills and tying up loose ends. So everything about this card is about tying up loose ends, even if you do have opportunities coming up to you. So it all is also a card of procrastination and self-sabotage. So it's best just to, again, try to resolve what you can with the situation that as it is, because September is a healing doorway. So you want to take advantage of the intuition that's coming through to guide you so that you can heal those blockages, because those doors are opening for a reason, for you to take advantage of that energy in the month. So you've got building blocks, so you want to try to build a strong foundation here. And so this is really about you starting to pay attention to your relationships, your work relationships, your familial relationships. It is taking stock of all the things, the values, the ethics, the morals, core beliefs, anything like that. Taking advantage of those things so that you can, strengthen your foundation and have clear communication. All of those things come to mind here. So it is about you laying the groundwork. It is about long-standing relationships being repaired and strengthened. It is about getting wiser and being more powerful together than apart. So in terms of money, it is also about you being able to turn iron into gold, is how the card refers to it. It's about building the dream. It's about you being more than enough. You were meant for success. This was always a part of who you were. And it is a card that's letting you know you also have that protection, while you go through this process. So you've got the vision, and you just need to fill up the cracks. You also have the card of yin, and again, that's a card of energy that is, you might be a little too far in one aspect over another. So what I would say is either you're not putting out enough of the yin energy, or you're putting out too much. So of the female energy, maybe, and I hate to use the word female energy, but maybe you're not being overly emotional enough, or you're being too overly emotional. So sitting back and waiting for someone else to make the move, or you're just sitting there gathering information and not acting on anything. So there's some kind of passivity here. There's it's a card that's really letting you know that you need to start to take the lead and go forward and be courageous and do the first step, or move toward, again, the action toward, I believe it's healing that rift is what this card really speaks to. But again, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised when you do come forward and make some attempt here. Again, don't have expectation, because the expectation is something that you're putting upon the other person. And this is really about you trying to heal yourself. So you're taking effective action, and other people will start to follow your lead. And again, if children are watching, they're also going to follow your lead. So this is also about letting others come to you, but not letting others come to you. It's about you starting to go forward and to find a way to release. And when I say children watching, it's not that they just see you heal the situation. Again, as those children grow older, if they have a rift with you, they also know that the doorway is still okay to come forward, because they saw you take that same doorway with someone else. So I use that as an example, because I think we set examples for children, and I know many of you do have children, so I think it's really important just to make note of that. So this is also a card of, do you have troubles kind of receiving receiving from other people? Like, do you actually allow other people to give to you, or are you closed off? Are you generally the person who does all the giving? So this is about also allowing other people to be a part of your life and be open to that. Because as I say, for others of you, it's more of a soulmate relationship here that we're talking about, a love relationship for some of you, like I said, that, needs some balance. So for some of you, it is relating to a friendship or a companionship, or, a familial relationship could still be with a soulmate, but it's some kind of a partnership that is meant to transform you. And so we have people in our lives that are meant to metamorphose, or morph us into new levels of ourselves. So it's important to be authentic with each other and reciprocate where you can. Know that it's okay to allow people into your world, to get close to your heart, because this is also a period where, again, you're going through a lot of changes, but it's changes that you need to heal. And so there's obviously some kind of deep love that is touching you that you're blocking, or you could be blocking for some of you, and you're not allowing yourself to have them get close enough because maybe you feel that it's overwhelming you, or that it somehow is you feeling like they're trying to rescue you and you're used to maybe being the rescuer, however that relates to some of you. But in terms of money, the soulmate card really is about that strategic alliance. So it's attracting people, the right people to you, in business, and, collaborating and being able to build on that. So in terms of protection, it is about someone coming through with a powerful gift is not really the word I want to use, but someone that's coming through, I think, with a strong support and is helping you to change for the better is really what the card speaks to. So you've got come to the edge, and again, that's a card of being courageous and, actually allowing yourself to heal, meaning that you have to actually come to the edge. You have to go forward with that initial step, to overcome your fears. So you have to take on the risk with this card. It's okay to be afraid. That is the only way through anyway, is to take on new territory. To get to the other side means you finally become part of that hero's journey. So you're having to take a leap of faith here. You're being asked to trust your heart, step into the unfamiliar, allow the part of yourself that's been hidden and protected to be seen. And you're being protected, so it's the time to actually do that right now, because the fear is leading you into a place where you don't want to go, but it's time to be courageous so that you're not lost at sea, is how the card is communicating it. And when they say lost at sea, so that you're not letting everyone watch you flounder through pain, when the real answer is just to go through the fear with courage. That's how you heal. It's not struggling with the pain is not the answer or the solution. It's moving into new territory, seeing things a new way, shifting your perspective so that you're actually able to recreate a situation and see it in a new way so that it's digestible, so that you actually break down your barriers. And again, I'm just going to, these are just really quick ones here, but this is about just that. This is the Gateway Oracle cards by Denise Lynn, and that's breaking barriers. I'm expanding beyond limitations into joy and freedom. Expect miracles. Miracles are blossoming into your life. Cultivating prosperity. The abundance of the universe is pouring into my life. So again, being in the flow, a lot of repeat cards here. I'm in the flow of the universe. So this is what you're working toward through the month of September. And again, I mean, there's a lot of actions that are moving you forward so that you can cast aside any restrictions. You can expect miracles to grow around you. You can expect protection from the universe. The universe does want you to focus on the things that are abundant around you, so that you actually have a sense of gratitude for, planting the seeds in the future. You have a foundation to build on. So again, breaking the barriers is really about just you holding yourself back. You just have to take some time to believe in the magic, I guess, so to speak here, and look for signs, symbols, and coincidences, and any kind of secret messages or ways, dreams, or anything that seems to come through or resonate for you as spirit. But again, it's about you starting to plan, but also go with the flow. Okay, the next cards out are, we're almost to the financial read. There's just a few more that I just want to quickly go through here. So we've got safe to travel. Keep me safe, let me roam, far away, but bring me home. So, and we also have passion. This is actually the Magical Spell Cards deck by Lucy Cavendish. A close friend gave me these ones. They're really amazing. So we've got passion, rise up high, inflame my purpose and reach the sky. We've got courage, by shining brave and true and bright, my courage now returns this night. And we also have new beginnings. Let this magic in my spell clear the space in which I dwell. So a lot of cards speaking to you letting go of the old, changing your perspective, starting to heal, taking some courageous steps toward new territory, things that you wouldn't have otherwise have made a move toward. So again, the safe travel card is really about, instead of being fearful, do something to help protect yourself, those that you love, and just taking on a new adventure, basically. So we also have, again, passion can also speak to not just a romantic relationship, but passionate about a project, anything along that line. So when you have passion for a project or passion for a person, either way, it is a feeling of being alive, and things are intense, and there's happiness, and it's, it makes you feel like there's a beginning here. It's a sense of purpose. It's a deepening within the relationship toward the work or the goal or the person, and it's a reigniting any kind of passion toward any of those things, as I said, or even a feeling of warmth, being closer to a familiar relationship, anything that is helping to motivate you. It's an important card in restarting those fires. So again, if you're feeling like you're lost, or you've lost your direction or your motivation, this is a card that's letting you know that it's going to return, and that in the month of September, you're going to be moving once again back on track. But again, I only say that after you have taken steps toward being courageous. So you have to do something in the month of September toward healing, and able for that passion to return. So it's about usually facing that fear, or the thing that we most fear, and able for us to discover, where those reserves of courage are. So whatever you're most frightened of, again, don't ignore the lesson, because you have to face your demons to be able to overcome and become your own hero, that hero's journey. So there was something that was said, I believe it was Alan Watts had said something along the lines of, when you take that journey, everybody expects you to come back with something, that hero's journey. But really, the journey is so personal that, it's not something that anybody can tangibly see. You're the only one that's going to know you've made this journey. You're the only one that's going to know that there's a part of you that has, deeply healed. So there's not really anything you need to be afraid of. People might see the action of you moving forward toward the fear, but the level of healing that you will overcome a very significant barrier is going to be so much more substantial on the inside than for anybody else to really see on the outside. So again, once that courage and you've faced your fear, you're going to be off on a new beginning. And that's exactly what you want. You want to be able to recalibrate. You want to be able to shed the things that aren't moving you forward. This is about exciting opportunities and things starting to come forward for you. You know, you're starting to create and open up, and there's going to be a new path here. So, you know, again, this is something that you need to, you're on the verge of. You need to take this chance. You need to go forward and face that part of yourself that hasn't yet been healed. So the next card is Sacred Awareness card, and this is actually by, it's Lemurian Temple Society, I believe it, or series, and this is by Sarah Esther Felix. So you've got a magical mystery, you've got deception, and you've got body temple. So this is really about you trying to heal the body, and of course we already know you're in the throes of that right now because there's so many cards speaking to that. But you also have magical mystery. So magical mystery is it's really a card just about you being in the unfamiliar, you know, taking yourself out into a place where you need to expand, a place where there's magic, a place where there's something that's more exhilarating. And again, this is really a card of the unfamiliar. You feel frightened, but you need to go through it. And you've got deception. And deception to yourself, I believe, is what this one's really speaking to. It's not deception of other people around you. I feel that your ego feels threatened with this card. I feel that you are making up stories or illusions or things that you're telling yourself so that you don't have to face the fear. You don't have to face this. So you're creating a false belief system about something of the past so you can prevent yourself from moving forward on it, so that you don't have to face it, so that you can remain fragmented. So you're really causing your own complication, your own confusion. You're really the one that's creating your own obscurity here, your own mistrust. So if you were to really, you know, examine your thoughts and your feelings, you're going to realize that there is a truth that's coming through, that it's you who's created this self-deceptive path. You've really maybe over-dramatized something, or you remembered a particular way that seems real, but maybe at that time was real, or felt real enough for you to create the rift, or not create the rift, or get involved with the rift, or have something happen there. But either way, there's a lot of illusions around that ideal or that image that are false, is what the card is saying. So this is about body temple, and this is really about you starting to, you need to take care of yourself, is really what the card is saying. You know, the body has memory. And so if you're really feeding yourself toxic words or toxic foods or toxic drinks or toxic anything, this is about every cell feeling all of that, and that will start to run you down. So the next cards out will be this is actually the Mystical Healing Reading cards. So this is by Ina Segal, and this is about transforming anger. And again, whatever this thing from the past is making you angry, and you need to experience a rebirth, or that you will, and you need to become more objective to allow for access to clear thinking. I don't know that those could be any more perfect. And I truly am not someone who rigs cards or does anything like that. I just don't have that kind of motivation. But for sure, these are definitely cards that speak to, you know, they're so in line with one another. I just don't know that there's any more I can add other than transforming your anger is really, you know, you feeling like you've got the right to blame other people for their limitations, but it's really you needing to face your anger, and you're draining yourself here. You know, you're holding on to something that isn't somebody else's responsibility. It's you needing to take responsibility for your own thoughts. And, you know, you may have a false sense of pride going on here, that you feel you're justified in criticizing other people. And again, I think that this is really what's holding you back from some kind of apology or whatever it is that's required for you to be able to go forward. You know, and again, I mean, for sure there's two sides to everything, and it's just that we can only be responsible for our own actions. So again, the card just speaks to anger, and I can only assume that it is, you know, anger that you feel that you're dealing with around this issue. So there's also experiencing a rebirth, and again, that is the card for sure that, you know, you're needing to kind of change your perspective to be able to move forward here. So a rebirth is a transformation. You know, it is a period where you need to do some inner growth. You need to be able to dive deep into your soul to be able to find that new path. It does mean you're going to be a little sensitive, and for sure you have to, you know, try to embrace things and not resist those painful moments, and try to be as honest as you can. And determined in what it is that you want to heal, you know, and just practicing self-acceptance. And that goes for inner work as well as externally what you need to do to be able to move forward. But what goes on inside is also what will go on outside. So again, becoming more objective is just about you being challenged to step out of your subjective experience, you know, and take a look at the situation objectively. So did you act in a dishonorable way or hurtful way, or are you judging too critically or too harshly of others, or is there something from childhood that you need or could develop compassion toward so that you could see the situation differently? You know, I mean, it's not to say that there's no truth in what you experienced. It's not to minimize that you experienced something that made you feel a certain way. But again, this is about trying to find the whole self versus, you know, living life in a fragmented way. Because again, that cycle perpetuates, and it doesn't just stop with you. It'll stop with, you know, it may stop with your children. There might be, you know, other people around you that, you know, pay this price as well, just simply because we're all connected and there's a train effect. So helping yourself to see a situation differently, be more objective, change your thinking about the way that situation looks, how you saw it in the past, again, will be different as an adult or in your new set of circumstances. You know, you've changed, the person is likely to have changed, and so overall, you know, you can remove yourself from this stuck pattern of repeated old blocked energy. Last card is to access clear thinking. So that one is pretty straightforward. You know, it's about you developing an ability to think deeply about something. And so you've got profound thinking that can come through if you take the time and the energy and the courage to, you know, reconstruct an old way of looking at a situation. You know, this is about you not jumping to conclusions and, you know, taking the time to look at another point of view and a new way of doing something, or the new way of thinking about something. So you want to expand your thinking. So you've got a multi-dimensional thought process so that you can find a way to heal. Okay, so I also am using a new deck. This is the last one just before we get, or actually no, there's one more. Sorry, we're almost there. Okay, this is actually the show you those cards there. This is actually the Voyager Tarot. So the Voyager Tarot is by James Wanless, and the first card up is Ace of Cups. Actually, I'll bring them all forward first. You've got the Ace of Cups, you've got the Four of Wands, you've got the Six of Cups, and you've also got the Six of Crystals. So with the Ace of Cups, it's an emotional card, and it does speak to new energy that's coming through there, or a new start. Ace of Cups is for sure very emotional person. I suspect that this is a person that we are speaking to. The card itself says ecstasy, so this is really an emotional experience where you felt really taken by someone, or somebody may have felt that way of you, or again, this could be a situation where you're just overly emotional in regards to the situation. I do feel, let's just skip on to the Four of Worlds here, because these are shorter meanings on these cards, and I don't think it really gives a full comprehension of what the cards are saying here without this one. So with the Four of Worlds, this card is about commencement. It does speak to spring, but it's also about new beginnings. So maybe it's in spring that you're starting to feel this new beginning. It might take this long here to be able to expand through, these feelings, or these, and this is also a card that speaks to an Aries energy. So we've got Aries coming through here. And I'll maybe go through in the financial read and go through those ones here in a minute. But for the moment, this is speaking to the Aries card. The Ace of Cups card is generally a Pisces energy, or it could be a Cancerian. But either way, with this card, it also speaks to creative expression. Could be coming through in a physical way for those that relate to a relationship, an emotional relationship, or a new start to a relationship, or a deepening of a relationship. This really speaks to, some passionate energy coming through, and a new beginning that's starting. But again, for those that it's dealing with a heated emotional situation where things were, maybe a lot more confusion, this card actually speaks to, new beginnings in that relationship as well. We also have the Six of Cups, which speaks to the past. So again, for those that I felt had some kind of a rift to heal, there was sorrow that was involved here. And with the Six of Cups, it's just that it's telling you that it is time to heal this situation from the past, because it will heal you on a larger scale and in your current situation, your current household. So this is about reaching a time of emotional catharsis, and being able to allow your sorrow to subside and heal, and taking the courage to grieve, as well as, let go of the old self and allow yourself to become the mature new you, because there's so much around letting go and release and new beginnings and endings that I feel that you're really becoming someone else other than who you used to be. So this is about allowing those things to pass through you, and not hang on to things that limit you. We also have the Six of Crystals, which is in the mind, and that speaks to a lot of confusion. So again, around that old past relationship there's a lot of confusion. There's a lot of mental conflict, a lot of indecision, feeling overwhelmed, just a lot of chaos and locked in your head energy here. So again, there's a lot of repeats on that kind of those cards as well. So the message is pretty clear here. You need to heal something. Okay, last cards out, other than my advice cards, which I will read at the very end. This is actually the Wildwood Tarot, and this is actually a really nice deck. At first I wasn't so keen on the drawings, but it's really grown on me, and I really like it now. This is actually the Two of Arrows, Injustice, and you've got the Three of Arrows, Jealousy, and you also have the Queen of Vessels, Salmon, and you also have the Mirror. So, these ones are, and I like the meanings in the book as well. They tell a little bit of a story, but again, there's, I find them really, I really like the meanings. Okay, so two of arrows, and again, you've got two of swords up here, and you've also, which I'll bring forward, you've also got three of swords. These are repeat cards, just in a different deck, and they have a slightly different meaning. So, with with this deck, the two of swords, this one is really speaking to, some kind of false judgment. And again, I did feel that you were maybe making some kind of judgment about someone else, possibly again in the past, or whatever this relationship was to you. You're sitting in judgment, or maybe somebody's sitting in judgment of you, and maybe there's some kind of ignorance or arrogance or false judgments is what the card speaks to, but it's imbalancing you either way because of this prejudice. And so the card is again a false conclusion, and this is about unjust decisions, and it's based on fear and greed or prejudice and just innumerable kinds of problems here that that really manipulate the situation so that the person feels, whether that's you or someone else, that there's control or gain to be had. So this is a card that is letting you know these are perversions of truth, and it's just causing frustration. It's just causing, destructive interference, and it's not healthy. Okay, so moving on to the three of arrows with jealousy. So again, this card, this could be in regards to a relationship that went bad, could be in regards to the unhealed relationship for the others. But this card is really about just that. It's jealousy or envy between people, competing passions or feelings of resentment. It's destructive. It's negative attitudes. And again, it can be negativity with family, friends, business associates. It's emotional insecurity. And again, it's a social prejudice of some sort here. So this is about somebody being a victim of jealousy and suffering. And you need to refocus that energy into a positive. Again, this is general energies as well. This is the Queen of Vessels. And this is the salmon that's coming through here. So this could speak to a person with the Queen of Vessels. And again, queens are usually maternal, or somebody in authority, somebody who's really compassionate, somebody who's quite somebody who could really have I would equate it weirdly with the Queen of Cups. So it's really somebody who's got that deep, caring nature. Somebody who's kind and sensitive, romantic, empathetic, intuitive. All of those things fall into that character. But again, this is somebody who's usually more of a mature age when it's a queen. So again, this card is also speaking to, I think this is really a person. Because the card itself is about somebody who's virtuous and, and the caring individual and so on. Or maybe it's you who needs to be caring and more compassionate and more honest and generous. But I feel it's more of a person that we're speaking to. And maybe this is the person that needs to be healed. Don't know. But with the mirror energy, again, this is along that same line. When what you feel inside gets mirrored back out. Your inner reflection is illuminating the shadows of our inner life. So, it's important to be able to heal and to follow that hidden knowledge and inspiration, and to use this is really the equivalent of the Hanged Man. So see life through a different angle, and that's changing your perspective. See things for how they truly are, and not how you remember them to be, or how you expect that they should be. This is about you being patient. This is about you being at a process of crossing. It's that Hanged Man crossroads energy. This is about you, again, you're the wounded spirit who needs to be healed, is what this card is. And it's about, and the only way that happens is if you let the journey happen. So you actually have to take energy and steps toward the challenge for those insights, for that wisdom to occur, so that you can actually get to the other side. This is a journey. That's really repeated in pretty much every one of these cards. Okay, so the last part of it is the financial aspect. And maybe just before I go through that, I'm just going to quickly go through the advice cards. You've got Knight of Ariel. There is so much to accomplish. Make a very detailed plan, being watched over by someone kind. You have a guardian angel. Someone that's likely passed over, as I mentioned. You also have Three of Ariel. Do what you love. It's a time of great personal growth in your career or artistic endeavors, working with others in cooperative manner. So again, you need to heal, allow your family in. You've got the Ten of Raphael, love and blessings, fill your life. Harmonious relationships with family members, happily ever after. Things are starting to turn around for you. You just need to invest in them a little bit here. Eight of Raphael, there is something better waiting for you. Do what you know is right for you. It's a spiritual quest. You are being divinely led. Eights are all about finding balance and change. So again, you've got change your life, and it's a sudden revelation that offers freedom. Break free of procrastination. Embrace the opportunities that change brings. You've got lots of cards that speak to you making all beginnings, endings, changes, aha moments. It's about, you doing you, allowing others in, working with others, getting input. Don't be afraid to share, your time, your energy. Trust in some of those relationships. You've got blessings coming in, and it's okay to allow yourself to find peace in those family relationships. Everything is still hard work, but there's satisfaction to be had here. There's also that spiritual quest and, building upon your foundations there with the Eight of Raphael. And again, something better is waiting. You just need to be able to not force the end, but to start making courageous steps toward that new path. And again, a sudden revelation of some sort. There's going to be some kind of unexpected, transformation that's going to liberate you. And then you'll see that new path. That's when you're changing your life and you're not going to be procrastinating anymore. Something is going to become crystal clear for you. So that was your advice. And last part of the reading is the financial aspect. Okay, so the first card's out, and again, I've got a clarifier for the Three of Swords. Three of Swords for sure is a card of conflict. The beginning of September for sure, I sense there's going to be some conflict, battles. I think this is more around partnership or relationship that's somehow influencing the reading. Or again, this could be you. This could be you just stuck in your head here. I think there's a really good chance that this is actually you going through this level of conflict, because with the Three of Swords, it can speak to a few different things here. As I mentioned, it can be conflict with a relationship. It can actually, but because again, I feel this isn't options. I feel this is confusion here with the Seven of Cups, emotional confusion. And I think that's really where you've got emotion and logic issues, being confused. I feel that you're getting over some kind of a heartbreak of some sort, for one set of you anyway, for one group of you, and for others, I feel that, again, this could be with the loss or that you were grieving, that there's a lot of anxiety and a lot of emotions to still work through here. This is somebody who's wounded. This is pain that you're going through. This is pent-up emotions. This is anything about broken dreams that fall into this category and feeling a lot of anxiety. This could be a lot of jealousy as well, but I feel it's more about letdown and about, disappointment and heartbreak, and like I said, some kind of angry words or painful separation. It's all of those things. It's difficulties. Anything that comes through here with anger, all of that sort of falls into that category there. But it's, I feel for the majority of you, it's some kind of fear and wounding and something that needs to be healed. In the beginning of September, you're really struggling emotionally, because again, this can be stagnation, this can be having to make a choice, this can be, overwhelm as well. With the Ten of Wands, it's the clarifier for the Two of Swords, and that's a progression, with the Two and the Three of Swords here. This is for sure, somebody needs to compromise is with this card can also represent. It can be indecision, stalemate. It can be about choices or something that you need to act on. But again, it's some kind of imbalance, and it's a negative emotional state. It's a denying of feelings. All of that falls into that category. Defensive attitude, just blocking others out and just pretending like, you're all cool, calm, collected, and everything is going well and things are fine. But I don't feel that that's really the case. I mean, for sure, there's difficult, blocked emotions that are coming through here, especially when it's coupled with the Ten of Wands, feeling overwhelmed. Again, more energy of you blocking yourself, self-sabotaging. With the Page of Pentacles, I do feel that with the Page of Pentacles, normally this would be a card that speaks to new learning, but I feel that there is a new level of learning that needs to come through, but you're still sabotaging yourself here. I feel that, this can also be, a messenger with the Page of Pentacles, but it is also about you getting practical and starting to try to, look at things realistically, putting some effort and some focus and into your progress. But it is a period of learning and growth. And again, it doesn't have to be study. It can be learning and growth on a spiritual level. For others of you that are moving on a business idea, maybe you had to let go of a business again, and this is about you starting to, that ambition toward your success is starting to build again. This is still a beginning card, so it's not that anything is going to manifest necessarily with that. It could be a new job or something that's coming through there too, but again, maybe it's new skill, like generally it's new skills and so on that are also coming through with this card, but it's also about being realistic, and strong commitment needs to be made here. So don't give up is really what the card is saying as well, because it's coupled with the Eight of Swords. I feel that there is some kind of limitation around your money at the beginning of September, so just to be careful of that. Again, there's some kind of partnership or lover relationship, or for some of you it's a love relationship, and for others of you it's a partnership in a business. Still for others, it could be just some kind of soulful relationship that's not that you're still in hermit mode about here. You're not quite healed. You're not sure how to deal with that situation just yet, not by the beginning of September anyway. You haven't really come to those realizations. You're still struggling with how to, but you are going in within and you're getting divine help with the Hermit card. So for sure there's some energy here that some healing is starting to take place, because that's an enlightenment card here with the Hermit energy. And again, with the, it's a healing energy around that coupleship, that partnership. So again, this is you wanting to be alone, but it is a period of enlightenment, self-reflection, soul searching, all of that. You're getting hidden knowledge. You are withdrawing here. And again, it is still you looking in for answers. So again, beginning of September looks to be a real painful, quiet time for you. And that's okay, but just know that you are moving in the right direction with those emotions. So again, more cards of self-struggle, inner battle, you battling the self. Could be that there's jealousy around you if it's in a job front kind of thing. For some of you it might be that, you were starting out to look for work, but things weren't going well. Maybe you were too much self-sabotage, meant too many negative thoughts, not looking, not looking at the situation in the right way. But again, with the partnership card there, that's kind of throwing me off on some of that, because I feel there's still some kind of partnership energy that's coming through. But again, there's a battle. I'll go back to that one there, because that can also speak to intuition coming through with that Lovers card. Which is kind of a spiritual ascension card, and it can also indicate that there's a big change coming. So again, I think it's more on that front. for the majority here. But we also have the Five of Wands. Wands are also about, fives are generally not great cards, but I mean, it's for you, I feel like it's more of a self-imposed journey here that you're torturing yourself with. Again, it's a level of pain that you're having to struggle with. But whether you're competing in a job front or if it is just you battling yourself, it is also a card of setting down some priorities. And, even though you feel that the world is against you, there is still movement. So, sorry, just having a little computer technicality here. I don't know how to change something off my screen. Okay, either way, but as far as the Fool card, I mean, this is really about you able to go forward. You're going to take a leap of faith. You're going to face whatever this fear was, this thing that was, causing you some difficulty. The Fool is, again, there's a whole bunch of cards speaking to beginning and endings. And as far as the Fool card, this is really about you starting off all over again. You're on a new cycle. You've completed your karmic journey there. New doors are opening. This is about you being a lot more optimistic. You're taking on this new adventure. You've got a new lease on life. So you've got new feelings. There's something awakening inside of you here. This is about change, and you're moving on past something. So you're starting to see that you've got some potential here. This is a card of excitement and childlike energy. It's really about that enthusiasm returning. So again, you're moving past all that negative energy. And now, even though you see it's followed by the Tower card, which was again clarified with the Ace of Pentacles, this is not actually a bad card. This is actually a card that is letting you know you've actually got kind of an aha moment, a little small gift, something that's starting to come through here. Because again, like with the Tower card, it's an unexpected something. And because it's coupled with the Ace of Pentacles, it feels to me that it's an unexpected cash, unexpected money of some sort that's coming through here. And following that, you have the Seven of Pentacles as well as the Knight of Cups, which can also represent just a news or a message that's coming through. But we also have the clarified with the Five of Pentacles. So again, with the Seven of Pentacles and the Knight of Cups, I feel that you're taking care of, I think that there was some kind of long-term investment is really what's coming through there that is starting to come to fruition. For others of you that are in a job situation, you may not feel that you're being properly rewarded here. Or again, that you've got a lack of energy because you're just feeling like you can't go forward just yet, and you might be making some unhealthy choices. But overall, as I said, I feel like I'm speaking to a few different versions of the Pisces at different stages in their life. So for some of you, as I said, I feel like it's the lackluster, not a lot of energy to go forward here. You're still dealing with, some of the struggle from above, back and forth over the course of the month. But for others of you, there's some kind of unexpected money that's coming through here about the middle of September. And again, we've got the Queen of Pentacles. This is really somebody who has a really nurturing, practical energy here. This is someone who, again, it could be a person or it could be just advice to you as well. If it is an energy of a person, this is somebody who is more mature. It's usually a little bit older of a person. This is somebody who, can be there for everyone, who's a creative, resourceful person. Can be somebody who supports the family or who's a healer themselves. But this can also be, somebody who has a really good sense of money and very loyal, unpretentious kind of person. Somebody who's really security-minded, that kind of thing. So Again, this is really somebody who is, looks after the children and is really home, may even have a home business or something like that. Very practical, realistic kind of a person. But it could also be speaking to you to be practical and realistic and matter of fact with the details of moving towards success. So the other cards here, this is actually the Nine of Pentacles, and it was clarified with the Two of Wands. So the Nine of Pentacles is a card of independence, and it can be success, financial success as well. And again, I did feel that there was some money coming through for you here, but with the Knight of Pentacles and the Two of Wands, I feel that this is really a card of, for some of you, it's really an entrepreneurial energy, and definitely one that is, giving you some recognition. But for others of you, and it's accomplishment, it does speak to accomplishment coming out of that over the long term. And self-reliance, it speaks to self-reliance and somebody who's capable of taking on this mission. Because it's coupled with the Two of Wands, I feel like it's more that energy here, that this is somebody who's able to, that's coming out of it, coming out of a challenging situation, and they're actually able to, but they still have to have some patience here before they're able to feel that sense of being in control again. But this is really about starting, this can represent a new job as well, that's creating some sense of independence. But either way, it's a balance that's coming through with both of those cards. So it's about, being back in, heading back into control of your life and that personal empowerment. So, good news comes through with the Two of Wands, but I feel it's really about, you starting to feel whole in the world again and more independent. And again, in terms of business, it'd be making your mark on the world and sort of widening your perspective that's going to allow you independence and freedom. So, and I do feel that that's going to happen, but again, you've got some struggles to get through first here before that moves ahead. With the Five of Swords and the King of Pentacles, I mean, the King of Pentacles is definitely a card of somebody who, it can speak to a person, and it can relate to somebody who is, sorry, I'm going to try one more time to remove this thing off my screen. Hopefully it's not actually obstructing your view here, but anyway, the King of Pentacles is a card that can speak to a person, an authority figure, somebody who's good with money, somebody who's entrepreneurial, enterprising, powerful, disciplined, business leader, that kind of thing. It can speak to good fortune, money coming in, somebody who's reaching their goals or has high social status. Again, this can be a person, but it can also be something that you're aspiring to and moving toward. With the Five of Swords, I feel that, and it can represent for sure father figure as well, somebody who's just competent and responsible, but because it's alongside the Five of Swords, I feel there's some kind of restriction over that. So with the Five of Swords, this is about, again, fives are a little more limiting. So you could be accepting some kind of limitation around this success. You could also be winning something but having to compromise if there was some kind of a battle that has gone on here. But there has been some kind of a battle. There's been some kind of a challenge here for sure. It can be about learning, because the Five of Swords on its own is learning to accept others and have some boundaries and limits and that kind of thing. You might still be winning the battle, but again, it can indicate a conquest and a defeat, and there might be some power games overall, but it can speak to abusive relationships as well with this king here. But this card does speak more to betrayals and loss and some kind of conflict. So I feel that there's some kind of a conflict that's going on here with the king. So whatever that difficulty is, there's also, or maybe it was even the loss of a father figure or somebody that, had a certain degree of power. But either way, there's also, with the King of Cups, this is somebody, in the positive, that's emotional and romantic and a strong father figure and somebody who, is a cool dad, that kind of thing. Or it could be cool mom. Doesn't have to be a male energy. But it can also be, somebody who is just coming through as a really passionate, emotional kind of leader. However, it is clarified with the Two of Pentacles. So my feeling is that this person or yourself is going through something that is very emotional, and you're trying to find a balance with those emotions. In terms of a career, which I feel a lot of these emotional energies are really impacting the finances for the month of September. But I do feel that there is a balance. You're juggling back and forth. There's some kind of indecision here with the emotional aspect. Can also speak to a manipulative person being around, but for others of you, it's just trying to balance out those emotions. So last part of it is the Emperor and the Ten of Cups. Really strong. The Emperor is a really strong protective family, individual. So this is somebody that could be you or somebody else in your sphere, but they're really concerned about those that they love. And with the Ten of Cups there, this person is really taking measures to make sure that the family is safe. Can also speak to, somebody who's the head of the family as well. So male or female. But either way, this is really about just making sure there's security and stability going on there. We also have the High Priestess, and that's with, again, more tens, speaking to beginnings and endings, but you've got the High Priestess with the Ten of Swords, and we also have the World card. So again, this really speaks to, sorry, I'm just still trying to play with my computer screen here. It seems to be still in lockdown mode. Okay. Anyway, okay, sorry. As far as the High Priestess card goes, this is really one where this could be somebody who's got a lot of hidden knowledge. This is a latent talent. This is secret information. This is a passive card, so it's really divine energy that's coming through, insight, anything like that. With the Ten of Swords, you've got beginnings and endings, and of course, it's the end of a cycle. Nines are usually more of the end of the cycle, and the 10 means you're already in the throes of that, just moving past that. So with the World card, again, that also speaks to, moving past the end of a cycle and kind of moving. You're already in the throes of it. You're already in the dynamics of that change. So again, with the World card, it can also speak to accomplishment. So by the end of September, you will have accomplished something. You will have come through this karmic cycle. You will have insight. You will have been able to you might even be traveling, actually, with this card that speaks to travel. You have quite a few cards that speak to travel, so maybe there's something that's in the works or a plan to travel. But again, this is a reward for hard work and effort, and this is a reward from the universe that's coming through here. So really, this is success, accomplishment, fulfillment. You've completed something here, and you have reason to be optimistic, and that is with the Star card. You're back on track, and definitely feeling a lot more positive. You're optimistic. You also have divine intervention, and again, that's, I feel for some of you it's an angel that's coming through to re-inspire you and get you moving in the right direction. You're protected here. This is the realization of a dream, something that is, you've got more clarity, you've got new trust in a relationship, there is, there's more insight, you've got stronger sense of belief, all of that stuff comes through with this card here. So again, your self-expression is at its highest. You've got the motivation to get done what you need to. So this is the light after that dark tunnel. So great motivation for the month of September. A lot of healing, Pisces, and I understand that as definitely, that's a lot of transition for you to go through. And I will also say, just in addition with the High Priestess and the Ten of Swords, there might, for some of you, a small number of you, could be also represented here as angry words with the swords and a jealous woman, that kind of thing. But I think for the majority of you, this is really something that you're moving past. There's not going to be that verbal attack to disrupt your peace. I just feel that overall you're just spending time thinking about your career and getting back on track before you're really acting. So there's not a lot of action going on. A lot of it is really just inward movement, but for sure there's, you're overcoming this stagnation. You're beating out over these self-esteem issues or these things that were causing you inaction. You definitely are conducting yourself in a way where you've got integrity starting to come through, because as I say, even with there's sort of another take on that Five of Swords and the King of Pentacles, and that is also speaking to, you being a beacon of hope, or there being a beacon of hope somehow coming through with integrity, or it can also speak to selfish action and letting someone down here as well. But I just thought I'd throw that in there. But for the most part, as I say, a lot of this is about unexpected cash flow coming through at some point around the middle of September. But overall, you're very much more optimistic by the end, and you have a lot of inward healing to do at the beginning. And I suspect you will be, for most of you, making that journey to heal whatever that relationship was. And again, healing for yourself, taking that step forward and being courageous to extend yourself with that older relationship, because again, with the Six of Cups, it's some other previous past relationship, something from the past, somebody you've known for quite some time. So anyway, I have taken up a lot of time there, so I'm just going to cut the end short here. We'll see you in October, and I wish you well on your journey.